ball knocked loose. White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor.
They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derrick White.
Bing bong, Wayne Spooney here for the First to the Floor podcast. I'm joined by Jake Eisenberg. Jake, buddy, game of basketball last night, huh?
Man, it is very interesting how, despite the Celtics going down to this team in very similar fashion, the way the Knicks collapsed last night feels like the Celtics won a game in the conference finals.
Yeah,
that's how excited I was and everybody was about yesterday's game. And I think it's like a few things. For me, it's like people that get beaten by, so you lose. Some people take the philosophy of like, if they win the title, that means like we lost to a really good team. Depending on who it is, but I often will lean to, I can't have that team that beat me win the title. Like they have to be sad now as well. On top of the New York Boston thing. And then the cherry on top, and maybe the most important thing, if the Pacers make the finals, win the title, I mean, that seems like a lofty goal. But the better the Pacers do, the more that validates the Celtics title from the previous year. We tried to tell people this fucking Pacers team was legit, and people like to forget the Celtics were up 2-0 before Halliburton got injured.
Yeah, and frankly, like you could make the argument that the way the Pacers played after Halliburton went down, they didn't lose much. They lost. The Celtics lost a place to attack once Halliburton went down, and like Nembhard just played as well as Halliburton would have anyway. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, they were just as good, but like fundamentally, the matchup did not really change after he went down. So yeah, we've been screaming it from the rooftops. You guys, like, people do not understand what this Pacer team is all about. I am an idiot. You know, I got a kid. I'm an attorney. Like, you know, I got to be up early at 5:15 with my kid. I got to get my sleep. All right. So it's like I think this is like 108-92 with like 7 minutes left in the game. And I'm like, it's 10:15. All right. I'm just going to go to bed. Like, this sucks. I can't believe the Knicks are up 1-0. And then I wake up and I think I checked our Discord with me, you and Ben, and you or Ben were just like, that's fucking crazy. And I'm like, no. And then of course I see my GOAT, my guy, Aaron fucking Nesmith, former Boston Celtic, 30 on 8 of 9 from 3. Just absolutely crazy. And like, this was a worse loss than anything the Knicks did to us by far. Like, being up 20 and then losing sucks, but being up 8 with like 40 seconds left and losing that game is absolutely nuts. And you and Sam were playbacking it, and you guys were going absolutely ape shit. I saw the clips, and yeah, here's Nesmith just sinking it, man. Incredible.
5 for 6 from 3 in the fourth quarter alone for Nesmith. Like, what's crazy about the clip too is like they're up 11 still with 2 minutes to go. Like, there's so many spots you can like pick the lead at. And then, man, he never changed, man. His legs, the way that he plays, he's still so all over the place. Logo 3, cuts it to 5 still, 34 seconds to go. It's like, oh, is this the same clip again? No, then he comes around, yeah. Bro. And then he doesn't score again after that. And I don't know what Josh Hart's doing or what OG was doing on some of those plays. It's like the dude has to Bill Simmons, he likes to say he's got flames shooting out of his ass. It's like at some point, let's get the ball out of Nesmith's hands. Let's like make anybody else beat us at this point. Let's try and get Ben Shepherd or Siakam to take a shot. Let's try and get them into the 2-point range. Yeah, like the Celtics collapse was very bad, but the Knicks were up 9, 121-112 with 58 seconds to go.
It's
and
crazy.
And then Cat still scores again to put them up 8 with 42 seconds to go.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best parts about like the collapse was the Cat missed free throw. He like changed his routine on the second one. He like stopped, breathed, and then back irons it, not even close. And Sam LaFrance was just loving it on the playback. And if you want the full video, like I put a 6-minute video together of like right when you went to bed. They go up 16, and I said on the stream, "Oh well, that's it. Good effort, Pacers." And I said like 5 more times, "Oh, this is over," and they just kept coming. The Pacers, man, this is the 3rd time they've come back down 7 or more with less than a minute to go in the same playoffs.
Dude,
like
it's happened. It's happened 4 times, and they have 3 of them in this playoff run. That's how like anomalous this is. It's absolutely nuts. I was listening to, I think, Zach Lowe today, and he said, I can't remember who he was talking to. It might have been Carlisle. Honestly, might have been Nesmith. And they were just like, this will probably happen again. Like, this is just who we are. Like, we know we get down and we just like are so comfortable crawling back into the game. It's never over. We can shoot ourselves back into it. The confidence they played with, like Nesmith's their 5th man, essentially, right? Like, maybe 6th in some, like he obviously starts, but like from like offensive role perspective, like and he's just walking into like off the dribble threes with 45 seconds left, and Carlisle's empowering him and like, do it, man, like rip those shots. So they're a really dangerous team, and they're super fun to watch, and neither of these teams can stop the other one. So this is going to be like the complete opposite of the Knicks Celtics series where we shut them down and then missed every open shot. So it was just really, really awesome. And I am so happy for Nesmith, dude. Like if you're kind of newish to the show, the Spoonie Nesmith thing, I basically, the first thing that ever got me noticed by like people in the Celtics media, specifically Forsberg, was I wrote something on Reddit that was like 2,000 words about why Nesmith should start. I think in the Udoka year, and how he should be the 5th starter. And like, it kind of caught on. It was the first thing I ever wrote that sort of got outside of Reddit. So he has held a special place in my heart. I was devastated when we traded him, even though I still think that was probably a good trade for both teams. And seeing him do this, man, it's just like, it's awesome. It's just really cool. And like, he seems like a good dude, and he's a super hard worker. So it was awesome.
It's really funny because when he got traded, I would say most Celtics fans liked Nesmith, and it was a big mistake. Not the trade, but the way that they utilized him, especially in that second season. Because his rookie season, he closed strong. He ended up shooting 37% from 3 in his rookie year, and then he was basically buried the following season, that 2021-2022 season. Udoka didn't play him at all. I actually had forgotten that he was still on the team at that, because like he didn't play. At all in the playoff run. And it's like, how badly did that Celtics team that went to the finals against the Warriors need some depth? Because they basically were running like a 6-man lineup. Rob went down. It was like 5.5 guys. And Nesmith had showed enough in his rookie season where it was like, dude, especially in the first half of that 22 season where they were below 500, it's like, this guy guards, he plays hard. This team like needs energy, and I can't even believe he shot 27% from 3 that second season. And it was like, he's coming off the bench and playing these it's like, I can't like look at anyone's 3-point, like Reed Shepherd didn't shoot well from 3 this season. It's like,
He's a shooter.
He's a shooter, man. It's similar to Baylor, where he was like, he missed like all those shots. It's like, you know, these guys can shoot it. And now he's got back-to-back seasons. He shot 43% from 3 this season. He shot 42%.
50-40-90 this year, bro.
Yeah, dude.
50-40-90. Yeah.
He's at 54-54-90 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's on a crazy run. Yeah, man. He's awesome. And then the funny part, when he first got traded, he like had all this, because it wasn't our fault that Bleacher Report tweeted that thing where it was like what the Celtics traded for Malcolm Brogdon, and it's like the SpongeBob meme with the paperclip and a piece of string. And then I saw the reverse yesterday. The Pacers got Nesmith for a paperclip and a piece of string. And it's like, no, that's not what happened. And you go back, it's like, I wish we would have traded Hauser for Bogdan instead of Nesmith, but obviously it all worked out like for both sides because it led to the Drew Holiday trade. But yeah, man, Danny Ainge, like put a notch in the belt, man, because he nailed that pick.
Dude, he had I think he drafted Nesmith and Pritchard that draft 2020. So like what a fucking draft having 14th and 26. Holy shit. You got like the 6th man of the year. And then like, Nesmith's a very, very good two-way starter. Like, and they have him on a ridiculous contract too. I think he's making Sam Hauser money essentially.
Yeah, 2 more years after this at 11 mil.
Yeah, so that's a great trade. Like his contract wouldn't have been big enough to get Drew Holiday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So actually, like even if you only look at it from that perspective, totally worth it for the Celtics, and obviously a great trade for Indiana. So, I just like I know you've got a clip from Knicks film school, and like watching this game, watching Indiana like set a pin down for Nesmith, who comes up to Hallie and goes to screen, and then Hallie does like a get action with Miles Turner, and he comes downhill off the handoff, and it's like layup at the rim. Watching that, it's like it's not that fucking hard to attack this Knicks defense, dude, and like the Celtics inability to do it. It's just like making me so sad watching Indy just carve them up.
Yeah. So I'll run the playback clip from the Halliburton shot, and then we'll do the film school thing as well. But yeah, this is so ridiculous.
Now you actually have to guard.
Come on, Hallie.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh no! The ref has got the gun.
No! Oh, it's a 2. It's a 2?
Insane.
Oh, man. And I can't believe it was a 2 as well. Like, and then they still beat them, and the Knicks were dead in overtime. Like, that's what made this loss like extra sweet or extra painful, depending on which perspective you're looking at it from. Is that like the Pacers go deep and they are just relentless. 48 minutes, which is why probably they came up and came back. And Brunson, he got in foul trouble again. Cat, a little bit of foul trouble again. And they both had awesome games still. But, like, they're only playing this 7-man rotation. And the Knicks the Pacers just have this pace going and going and going. And you play an overtime game on top of that. And it's day on, day off for this entire series. Like, you had to win that game if you're New York. Again, my favorite Bill Simmonsism is they got to win 4 out of 6 now, which is just a fact.
Yeah,
but
true.
After anyone loses game 1, they're like, I don't know. Come back. You got to win 4 out of 6 now. What up, Cookie?
Hi, Cookie. I know, like no team has ever come back in a series down 1. Like it's impossible. Yeah, and like to that point on the depth, like Obi Toppin just comes in for crunch time of this game and makes a massive, massive impact. He's just like blowing by people, like jumping over people, tip slams.
The dunk to the and one in overtime when they're icing it.
Yeah.
Double clutch. He gets fouled and throws it down. I'm like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Sick. Yeah. The Knicks went up, I think, 4 super early in overtime. And then Nembhard hits this fucking 3 in the corner, dude. He's like falling out of bounds. Whap. And then after that, Indiana just kind of took over overtime. So it was an incredible basketball game, man. Like instant classic, shades of the Kawhi shot, but then you get overtime. And like this Pacers team's scary. Like, I don't think they can beat Oklahoma City. I think the inevitable is going to happen, kind of like last year with us. OKC is going to win the title, but it'll be really fun to watch their offense try to attack that OKC defense if they get through the Knicks. The Knicks are not out of this. You know, I underrated the Knicks. I'm willing to admit that they're a better team than I thought.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know. Can you tell how painful this is for me?
I don't think that they can beat the Thunder, but I genuinely want to see this Pacers offense against that Thunder defense, just because statistically the Pacers didn't have the best offense in the NBA. It was the Cavs, and even this, like I think the Celtics were ahead of them. But this Pacers offense feels just like the most sustainable possession to possession. Like we saw it in last year's playoffs with the Celtics, where the Celtics defense last year, man. Like, they strangled everybody, really. And it didn't matter. And part of that was just, like, the tough shot making, the Halliburton, Siakam, TJ McConnell literally went MJ from it was insane from the mid range. Like they were like 99th percentile for an entire series. But I don't know. There's just something. It feels like, and they're doing another version of that so far this playoffs. Like they got 3 guys just like scorching hot from 3, and I feel like they just generate comfortable offense. Even though the shots are hard, they're playing with such a pace and they're in such a flow state that it feels like they're all empowered to just go off at any time. So I want to see what that looks like against the Thunder, who are just like a complete wrecking ball.
Yeah, I think having multiple ball handlers like the Pacers do will go a long way. Because the Thunder, like, man, if you are not one of the best ball handlers in the NBA, the way they just attack your handle is like terrifying. It would suck to play against them, but the Pacers kind of have the horses. Like even Siakam can handle the ball and make the right read. I honestly think OKC's defense will win out and might be the unit that can hijack this Indy offense, but they have the spacing. They've got the stretch 5, which you absolutely need against Oklahoma City. And they've got a ton of smart decision makers, like all up. Like even Nesmith, like he's not going to fucking run a pick and roll and hit the roll man, but he knows like if I catch it in the corner and I'm open, I shoot it or I pump fake. And if he attacks a closeout, he'll get to the rim or he'll make the right pass. So it will be really interesting. But again, like the Knicks, if you're a Knicks fan, on one hand, it's like you got a monster game from Cat. I don't know if you're going to get that again from Cat. But you won this game, right? You probably feel like we just do that again and don't completely collapse, which having
I can't relate.
I can't relate at all to what that feels like. But I think you feel pretty good about your chances. But we'll see, man. Like, I don't know. This Pacers, I picked Pacers in 5 because I think you said and I was going to say 6. So I'm pretty comfortable with that because this felt like it should have been a loss. Like the Pacers, or rather if the Knicks are not like scorching hot, they're going to have a tough time keeping up with Indy's offense. Like it just puts so much pressure on your offense to like keep up with them. It's tough.
Yeah, man. Like you look at the margins. I mean, the Knicks ended up turning it over a lot, but Brunson had 43 points on 25 shots, and Cat had 35 on 17 shots. They went to the free throw line 40 times, and they still won the offensive rebounding battle. So, like, and of those free throws, Mitchell Robinson had 0. So, also no Hacker Robinson. Do they respect the basketball gods a little more than Joe Mazzulla? The Knicks fouling up 3, not respecting the basketball gods. Respecting the Knicks. It has been funny. I was listening to a bunch of Knicks stuff like in the wake of the game last night, and all of the problems with the Knicks came back immediately. It's like, why are they playing the starting lineup so much, despite the numbers being bad on that starting lineup all season long? All these issues, like they're getting torched late in games. Josh Hart off ball, and Cat getting confused. And it basically was caveat of being like, they somehow survived the Celtics series, and even then they're like. That's why I'm not ready to say that the Knicks team is better than I thought. Maybe a little bit better than I thought. But I still gotta see it. Because I guess on the flip side, it's like they did kind of win the game. They just like experienced a historic collapse. But you mentioned the stuff about the Knicks defense, and listening to the Knicks Film School Caitlin Cooper crossover podcast, which was really fucking good. And if you can bring yourself to listen to someone breaking down the X's and O's about this series, I would recommend it. But they brought up how we kind of let the Knicks off the hook in games 1 and 2 here.
Like the most encouraging thing about the Knicks' performance in Game 6 to me, because Game 5 was a disaster, Caitlin, to your point, in terms of navigating ghost screens, quick actions that suddenly the Celtics realized they have to run. Of course, if the Celtics had been running that since Game 1, we wouldn't be here right now. I don't know if we would have taken to Game 7. I don't know what would have happened, but certainly the Celtics win one, if not both, of Game 1 and 2 if they realize isolating after a switch is not the only option. And we can run another ghost screen. We can run 2 more ghost screens. If you get the Knicks moving and making decisions, that's how you defeat them. And the Pacers, of course, do that more than any other team in the league, which is why, in some ways, it's a very good matchup for the Pacers against the Knicks defensively.
Yep.
So frustrating, man. And we talked about it. Like, why did it take till game 5? I think part of this is the Luke Cornett Porzingis problem. And when Porzingis is out there, a lot of that movement goes away, but the movement's not as important when you're scoring 1.2 points per post up. It's like, I don't care how much movement we have, we're scoring points. Why do you think it was not available to the Celtics in games 1 and 2? Whose fault is it?
Honestly, I do have some blame for Tatum. I do not love the way we talked about it. We did a Patreon pod, Jake and I, where we did like broke down 5 plays from games 1 or 2. And Tatum was really guilty of just like the reason you set a screen isn't just to get a switch. Like it's to create space that you can attack. And if they switch it, then you attack the switch. But lots of times the Knicks were hedging. They were not switching, which means you're creating a ton of space that you need to get downhill and attack. And I just thought Tatum did not do a very good job of doing that especially at the end of game 1 and the end of game 2. And it felt like we were late on our reads, like, because we did ghost. I feel like it's not really fair to say like we didn't run any ghost screens in games 1 and 2. Like we did, but it felt like we didn't give the ball up quick enough. It was like, okay, you've got an opening, don't get rid of it. Then you pass it once the Knicks defense has recovered. And it would happen against the Magic too, Jake. You were talking about it a lot, how it's like taking us forever to hit the roll man and the short roll. Felt like kind of the same thing against the Knicks, but certainly we didn't run nearly as much stuff as we should have. And I think Tatum's to blame and Joe is definitely to blame. This was Joe's worst playoff series as a coach, I think, pretty easily. Yeah.
It's weird because like I went back and watched some stuff in the Mavericks series and like the Celtics, there's just so much more movement. There's like hitting guys in the dunker spot and talking about Tatum. It's so interesting because coming into the playoffs, it was like, this is like the best decision-making version of him we've got. And then in that Knicks series especially, because at least like the Magic, they don't help. So like the switches were more effective, I guess. But even still, it was like, with Porzingis, he wasn't really trying to... They got it going a little bit, I want to say in games 4, once Derrick White hit KP a fair few times. And it's like, where was that? Where is Joe Mazzulla being like, get Luke Cornett in the game and we're just going to run that 4 times down the stretch of games 1 and 2 with either Derrick White or Jayson Tatum or Drew Holiday, who has Jalen Brunson on him, who can't impact the passes. Very frustrating to hear it back from the other side of it, where it's like, and I think that if there's one thing that I think they could potentially get out of next season is... Because the league's a copycat league, quote unquote, right? Watching the Pacers do this, no Jayson Tatum, who does like to be more purposeful. Jaylen Brown's both guilty of this and also like our fastest paced guy at the same time.
Yeah.
I wonder if next season where it's like no Tatum, it's a Jalen, Derek, Pritchard, Cornett, Hauser group. Like that's a snappy group, right? Can they implement 12% of this Pacers culture, ethos, identity offensively into their own system? I just think it would make everyone's life so much easier. I love the way they play. It doesn't... Obviously, Halliburton is like Steve Nash, it kind of feels like at the moment, as far as like movement and decision-making goes. And that's not what Tatum can probably be, but just a little sprinkle of it.
Yeah, well, just like the way, like Halliburton was just like rejecting the screen and getting downhill. Like that, Tatum could do that. Like the Knicks were just conceding that when they're hedging like that. If you just reject the screen, the help defender is going to go where he thinks you're going on the screen side, and you just go the other way. And he just didn't really do, I don't know. It was a bizarre series for Tatum those first couple of games. Duncan Dees, I feel Tatum might have had a tight calf the series, which affected his ability to drive. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. That would certainly explain like why he wasn't willing to attack space and get downhill as much. So, it felt like last year we had a more of the Pacers style of offense in the repertoire. Like I felt like those like Celtics gasms where it's like 3 drives and 4 kickouts and a wide open 3 happened like 10 times a game. And this year it was like twice a game, you know,
especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't really remember any in the playoffs other than like game 3, basically, and game 5.
Against, I would have game 5 against Orlando as well, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, no, I think it would be great to kind of get that back to that identity. It's almost like they just got lazy and were like, oh, well, this 3's kind of open. Let's shoot that. Whereas last year it was like trade good for great. This year it was like good shot is fine. Let's just do that.
Yeah. And obviously we didn't complain about it at the time, but like upping the 3-point rate, like last season, it's like, well, two things come to mind here. One, who did we not have at all in last year's playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Kristaps Porzingis, who, not the most movement-centric guy. And then when you've got that much talent, why are we leaning into variance? Talked about it a little bit. It's like the slower you play, the less possessions there are, the more variance there is. The more threes you shoot, the more variance there is. And it's like, when you are the most talented team, why are you inviting this much variance in? Even the Hacker Robinson thing, it's like, do you need to go to this when you shouldn't need to? Should you not hold this as opposed to making it like a staple from the get-go? Just a few things that are keeping me not up at night. The Knicks helped me sleep last night, which was good.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. I certainly think like in 2022, when we were going against the Warriors, we needed to introduce variance because I don't think we were the better team. But you're right. This year, we were the better team than the Knicks. We should be trying to eliminate as much variance as possible. And yeah, the Hacker Robinson, it's almost like we can't stop you. So this is how we're going to do it. But we were stopping them. The defense was awesome. So it's really bizarre. But we should probably move on. We're going to talk about some big picture stuff with the fact that we have a new investor. But Jake, do you have Prize Picks loaded up? Because I can hit game time. All right, cool. Here's a word from Prize Picks.
Prize Picks time. Let's do it. The conference finals are here. Sans the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics Invitational is no more. Look, it's time to respect Tyrese Halliburton and Aaron Nesmith. I think let's go more. Tyrese Halliburton points and or assists is where I'm focusing my attention on Prize Picks as we move forward through these conference finals. Honestly, Bronson and Cat, I think, are going to probably continue to get loose as well. So those are pretty good spots to look at as well. But download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
And I'm muted. Awesome. You can tell I don't host that often. All right, Jake. So you want to introduce this one? I actually think Ben might have added this to the run sheet. So please.
Jake Fisher had and like this is an interesting part of the offseason when we talked about it last part is like the varying opinions on the value of the Celtics players, specifically Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. And Jake Fisher, from his sourcing, was saying the Celtics might need to attach an asset to move Jrue Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis is the one that's going to be easier to move. And so that is varying depending on who you listen to or your own opinion. Now, Keith Smith was on Locked On Celtics yesterday, and something that I didn't know, and we're going to keep collecting information about the collective bargaining agreement because they made this thing like just sprinkled with Easter eggs all over the place. But shout out Keith Smith and John Corrales. So apparently, if we're in the second apron after the next trade deadline, our pick gets frozen 2032. You can't trade it, and it gets moved to the 30th overall pick. What I didn't know is that you can unfreeze it. So if you're out of the second apron 3 of the following next 4 years, then it becomes unfrozen. It goes to the normal place, and it can be traded again. Why this is important, in my opinion, is because in leverage for negotiations for Jrue and Porzingis, where I thought teams might have us in a bind where it's like, there's one team that wants Jrue, or there's one team that's willing to take KP. They're like, we know you need to get out of the second apron. Give us a pick. Well, now Brad can be like, we can get our way out of the second apron a little bit more slowly if we really need to. We're not going to make a bad deal just because we need to get out of the second apron, because we have this backup plan where we can get out of the second apron for 3 years in a row and unfreeze our pick. Not ideal. I would say, to having to be out of the second apron 3 out of the next 4 years. But that 4-year window, that's like pretty wide and gives you wiggle room. And I'm sure this is stuff that Brad and Zarin have really thought about. But I thought that was a really good nugget from Keith.
Yeah, I had no idea. So yeah, super helpful nugget. And we can get under the second apron if we just let KP expire. So the fact that we're able to unfreeze it is very, very simple to get under that second apron. Because the second apron's way up there, man. Like, it's comical. We're as far over it as we are. But we are essentially like, if we just let KP expire, we'll be under it by like 10 million. So the thing that sucks is we basically won't be able to replace him, which is kind of a problem. And assuming Al Horford's going to retire, but every team is going to be dealing with this. Like, I bet you see Oklahoma City trade some guys that we think are long-term pieces for them, just because they're not going to be able to afford them going forward here. Like, I don't know. Like, Aaron Wiggins, I think, is actually locked up for a really long time, but like Dort on that deal, they might trade him. Who knows? But you're just going to see contenders have to give up some of their well-paid role players due to the second apron and the repeater tax. So we're not the only team that's going to be losing talent for less than we would like. So that's fantastic. You're right. It makes it so we're not bent over and have no choice but to send out assets. And of course, teams are telling Jake Fisher that we have to give up assets to get rid of Drew Holiday. They're not going to be like, oh, we'll give up a ton for him. Yeah, call us, Brad. Like, no team's going to do that. They're going to be like, I can straight face say that maybe they got to give up assets. That's what I'm going to say. Why would I inflate the market for Brad Stevens? So I take that report with a bit of a grain of salt. I think Drew does have positive value to a lot of teams out there, like teams that feel like they're a piece away from really getting into the conference finals mix. Spurs, Pistons, I don't know, maybe Magic. The Blazers. Yeah, Magic, definitely. Man, the Magic, he would be perfect for them. Spacing, ball handling, and keeps their defensive identity. Whew. So there will be buyers for Drew Holiday. And KP's on an expiring. Like, there's always, teams sometimes just need to cut salary and might be willing to give up, like, here's a younger, cheaper asset, and we just want the cap space, or we just want to get under the tax next year when he expires. So there'll be people out there for it. I don't think KP will get a ton back. I don't think Drew will get a ton back, but I don't think we'll be giving away assets to get off them.
Yeah, the key is just like, can you get 70 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar? Like, somewhere in that range where you're not going all the way down, like you're getting completely screwed, you're getting like 25 cents on the dollar. You just need like future movable assets that you can trade for second round picks, so that you find someone that's in a context that's been bad and they end up being good. I'm not a Patrick Williams guy. I know you are, but like, that's an example of like, he's on a long-term contract you send him to Chicago. There's also a Vooch trade there. He's just an example of a guy who makes like $18 million. So it's like a $12 million savings for the Celtics there. Guys like that are in their mid-20s, early 20s, late 20s, that have maybe been in crappy situations that can come into our system and look a bit better. But yeah, so that was an important nugget, important for leverage in negotiations. And now I guess the big news of the day, the Celtics and Billy C have convinced another investor to come into the group here, committing $1 billion to the group, making him the second biggest, owner, share-wise, of the Boston Celtics. Didier Mittal, which is really, it's important. He's the son of Lakshmi Mittal. Lakshmi Mittal. Apologies if I'm butchering the names here. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, it pretty cool that his the son gets named as the guy, where it's like your family's net worth is $23.9 billion. And you're allowed to go out and just buy sports teams. Pretty cool as an allowance. But yeah, I don't know. Your thoughts, Spoonie?
The little different than the way I grew up, but I look. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Not Wick, the other guy. Oh my God. No.
Pags?
Pagliuca. Yeah, Pags. Sorry. Pags said like he didn't understand why his bid didn't wasn't the one selected because he was like, we're not financing anything. We got straight cash. And this dude can't afford it, essentially, is what he said in the most polite rich people speak possible. This is evidence that Pags was kind of right. The fact that he's going out. I mean, all of these are conglomerates with multiple minority owners. So this is not unique. But it's interesting that it is that large of a stake in one go. So it's good. It's a very good thing because they need to spread the losses here. And I think it is indicative of if we are going to pay a ton of tax, then Billy C is going to need some minority owners that have very deep pockets. And so this is step one. So I think this is kind of a indication that like, we're not going to be selling this team off for parts when the $200 million tax bill comes in this offseason.
Yeah, this is good. 23.9 billion net worth, according to Forbes. Shout out Noah Dalzell for a lot of the reporting on this one today. Yeah, man. Welcome back, Luke Cornett. Get ready to learn third apron, Didier Metal. Like this is what we're talking about because Billy C, yeah, his individual net worth is not Ballmer. I mean, this guy's not Ballmer either, but like 24 billion is a lot closer to 170 billion than I think the single digit, like I think maybe even 2 or 3 billion net worth. Broke boy for Billy C over here. He's a big donor to the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. And Tice mentioned that in the Discord. People trying to figure out how much of a good or bad person this specific billionaire happens to be. Apparently, yeah, like he went to school in Pennsylvania. It sounds like he's a Celtics fan, according to the reporting. Might just be like PR spin, don't know. But yeah, an extra rich person, like with actually deep pockets, to help us pay the luxury tax and help us in these negotiations as we go forward here. Four reasons to.
Why don't we
go ahead.
Do you want to? Why don't we maybe pocket the Forsberg article and jump to Lizard Brain takes after I do, because we got a bunch of Lizard Brain takes to get to.
We'll save that.
Yeah, let's save that one. Because I think that's about embracing us next season and like what the season will be like. So we got time. We got plenty of off season to hit Forsberg's article. So let me hit prize picks and then, or rather game time, I should say, and then we will jump to Lizard Brain takes. There's nothing better than playoff basketball. I've been to one playoff game in my life, and it was the 2022 Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I went with Ben Vallis. You might have heard of him from First to the Floor fame, and it was legitimately one of the best days of my life. And you know how I got in the door? Game time. Super easy to get tickets. I just hopped on the app, search for the game, and then you're shown all the available tickets and all the best deals right on your phone. Their curated deals make it even easier to find the best seats at the best prices. And the last minute deals you can get on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. But maybe my favorite feature is the seat view. It'll show you exactly what it looks like from any seat before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Game Time rocks. Use it. Concerts, games, everything. It's amazing. Lots of great deals. Seat view. Okay. Lizard Brain takes. If you don't remember what Lizard Brain takes are, it's essentially, so there's this legal theory called the reptile theory, where generally plaintiff's counsel will appeal to a jury's emotional side. Sort of the reptilian part of the human brain that's just like, it doesn't matter what the law and the facts say. I'm mad, so I want to punish the defendant and award the plaintiff lots of money. So Lizard Brain takes our pure emotional side. We really rationally do not believe this, but there is a piece of us that kind of thinks it's true. So I put this one down before the news came out about the new investor. But this Lizard Brain take is that I think Billy C is not going to give a shit about the tax. He just paid $6 billion for the Boston Celtics. I don't think he wants to be the owner that starts with the team and then immediately starts trading guys for salary savings. I don't think that's true. I actually think we're going to cut some salary. But Lizard Brain, it's like, I wouldn't want to be that guy who everyone hates, who just bought the Boston Celtics and now he's trading Drew Holiday for nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be that guy either. He wants to be, dude. You saw the way that he looked at Jayson Tatum when he met him. He looked like I would look when I met Jayson Tatum. Just twinkle in his eye,
Yeah.
like ready. Anything you say, Jason, I'm there for you. Like I think that's more the mentality. I think the difference is like it makes basketball sense to get out of the second apron if we can. But it is interesting. Like a lot of the team in the exit interviews were like, we're still a championship contender without Jayson Tatum. And of course they should say that. But yeah, I think you could be right. From everything we've seen and heard from him so far, that would be the indication. But actions speak louder than words, and we're going to find out.
Indeed we are. What do you got for us, Jake?
Well, so I didn't actually put any in here. So these are
these are Ben's? Perfect.
These are all Ben's or yours. So
yeah, the top three are mine. The last two are Ben's.
Okay, you let's go with yours first, and then we'll use Ben's here.
Okay, I'm going to do the spiciest one. Maybe we should trade Derrick White. And hear me out. I don't believe this, right? Derrick White's awesome.
That's important.
I think I saw you respond on Twitter once. It's like, if we trade Derrick White, we're going to be looking for something that might be Derrick White at some point, which rationally I agree with. But if you get a Mikal Bridges type offer for him, or like, let's say it's less than Bridges. Let's say it's like 3 firsts and a young player and salary relief. Man, like they shake up, you get like a young guy who maybe turns into Derrick White, and then you got all this ammo to do other stuff for other deals or just take the picks and build for the future. Maybe we should do it.
There's definitely an argument. And I posted this in the Discord yesterday. I was listening to the You Know Ball podcast, and they're Sixers fans mostly. And then Sam Sheehan is a panderer to Sixers fans, constantly telling them that everything's going to be okay and the Celtics are bad. But the Sixers fans were like, this is what our doomer brains as Sixers fans thinks what's going to happen to the Celtics. You're going to trade Derrick White. You're going to get an awesome haul for him. Derrick White's going to be mid after this. Like the shooting that he experienced over the past 2+ seasons was like an aberration, and he turns back into the previous Derrick White, and he's like not a shooter. And then that essentially leads you into like the next Brooklyn Nets type return, where like whoever you trade with ends up like giving you 2 top 10 picks or top 5 picks. And I'm like, it's funny to hear the reverse psychology. It's like everything works out for the Celtics. Jayson and Jalen turned out great. You trade for Derrick White for nothing, and he ends up awesome. Al Horford was washed, and then he ends up playing 5 more years in an elite level.
Pritchard.
Pritchard, like you're able to get 2 first-round picks for Marcus Smart that you're able to flip for Drew Holiday. Like it is funny to hear from their perspective, where we're like, man, and it to be like Achilles injury aside, there's not things have been pretty good for the Boston Celtics in the past 8 seasons. Gordon Hayward injury, not perfect. That's life, but it's like, okay, I can see it. And then if you do get that salary relief, you're below the apron, you have all these assets. Pritchard, and then another thing they said, Pritchard takes like a Brunson leap, and he's not, I don't know, Brunson top, he's an all-NBA player. Does Pritchard actually take the Noah Dalzell all-star leap that she's been predicting? Maybe. And Baylor Scheinman take these little steps, and then all of a sudden you've got this depth. You've got Jalen and Jayson, and then you can like retool with the Derrick White package around Jalen and Jayson in like the 2.0 version. You can talk yourself into it. It's a good problem to have, besides the emotional attachment and how obviously we don't want to trade Derrick White. We love Derrick White. I think it makes more sense to just move KP and Jalen and retool around those guys. Hit on your picks, hit on the veteran minimum guys. But yeah, if the trade is the Mikal Bridges type package, I'm sure Brad will have a meeting about it.
Yeah, I mean, 5 first, I think, is probably just too many to say no. But like when you're talking like 2 in a swap, I think you have to seriously consider it, but I probably would not do that. And like the flips, also he's gonna be 32 by the time Tatum gets back and is healthy, so which is not old, but he's a guard, so I don't think we should trade Derrick White. But there's a little emotional part of my brain that's like, or dumb part of my brain is probably the way I should say it. That's like, maybe we should though.
Oh, it would also be good for the stealth tank, probably.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. Derrick's like a monster on-off metric guy, so that would be huge for the stealth tank. But okay, do you want to do the Tatum, Ben's Tatum one? Why don't you give us that one?
Ben has in here, Jayson Tatum will be completely 110% fine. And I don't know if I mentioned this on the previous pod, but I had like my first physio appointment, and the guy was like, I just think Tatum will be fine. He was a basketball fan as well. And I was like asking him about all these Achilles questions when I should have been spending the time talking to him about my own ankle. And he's like, yeah, man, he's 27. I was telling him about how like he got it done like the 12 hours after. And the guy was like, oh, wow, that's pretty rare. That's really good because it means like all this. I'm like, I know. I know all about it. And so I think he's going to be fine. I also went back and watched every bucket from Kevin Durant's 2021 playoff run, and holy shit, I think he was the best player in the world. Like, and I was specifically looking for like the way that he attacked off dribble and off closeouts and defensively, because the shooting's the shooting, but the dude was just as good as he was before. Like, not even a question. So that's the model. Like, they're not the same type, but like big, long, tall guys still in their prime, better circumstances for Tatum. Yeah, I think they should be operating under the he's going to come back and we're going to get Jayson Tatum again.
Yeah, I like that. I think I feel the exact same way, Jake. I think for me and you, this is just like a normal way we feel, but Ben has like the anxiety. Normal, his like standard brain is like, this is going to be very bad. And his lizard brain is like, maybe it won't be bad. So it's perfect Ben lizard brain take. So I tend to agree with you, man. Like I think he's going to be, even if he's like 95%, like you could just like, that could just be like a slight down, even like what is a slight down year for him, even, like 26, 8 and 5, like that'll be just fine. He could still, well, Ben's last lizard brain take is maybe counter to this, but he can still be the best player on a championship team. So, I actually think go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah. So this one, I think I might actually believe, but it just kind of feels like the team needs a shakeup. It just feels like they need some new faces in the door, like some new talent, some guys who do other stuff. And I think part of this is like recency bias with watching KP just like occupy spaces in the floor that hijack the offense a lot. Just feels like maybe we need something a little different. Like we brought everybody back that like never happens ever anymore in the NBA, and it didn't work.
It did not work. Brad, I'm not sure, saw the mystery illness coming, potentially, which threw a spanner in the works. I'm not sure he saw Xavier Tillman becoming unplayable as well.
Yeah.
Which would have been nice to have. That's one more guy in the big man rotation that, I don't know, maybe Joe Wood just wouldn't have played him even if he didn't look like he could still move. But I think that's fair. And you watch the Pacers and you watch the Thunder, and this is easier said than done, right? It's like Obi Toppin, Nesmith, Ben Shepherd, Nemhard, all these just like young, fast guys that are skilled. And can that be Baylor Scheierman? Please, Lord. Because like you watch that dunk from Obi Toppin, I bet you Jordan Walsh can do a version of that dunk. Yeah. Like he's that athletic. The problem is all the other stuff. But Obi Toppin, granted, he was like a top, I want to say top, he was a lottery pick for the
11th, sure. I think.
Yeah. So obviously different like talent wise and stuff like that. But like, can he become 70% of Obi Toppin? Mathurin, like they have so many guys, and I think it's a really good time. Everyone's been talking about like getting younger and getting more athletic, and that's definitely part of it. But Obi Toppin is clear, like very athletic. Nesmith, very athletic, but like Nemhard's not a hyper athlete.
No.
Halliburton's not a hyper athlete. It's more like I'm not going to be married to just athleticism or just because size and skill has become so valuable in the NBA as well. But it's like, oh my God, how do we get a Case and Wallace? How do we get just like one of these guys? And maybe it's through the stealth tank next year because Aaron Nesmith was picked 14th overall. As we just said, Obi Toppin 11th, Case and Wallace 10th. Can we get into that top 16, 15 range and get a Trey Murphy who was drafted 17th overall, nail one of these like wing athletic dudes that can just like take some of the load off of the Jays and just like give him some more juice?
Yeah, man. I really think we just need to get a little more pop in the lineup, whatever it is. So, okay, last one. It's a Ben one. Do you want to do the honors or do you want me to? All right.
Is Tatum actually Pierce? Do we need another Kevin Garnett to win Banner 19? Was Jalen, Porzingis, Derrick a collective KG? I wish Ben was here to really flesh this one out for us. But it's interesting because I view Tatum as like the collective player. He's not Kevin Garnett emotionally, but as far as like how much he did for the team, where he was the defensive anchor and he was the heartbeat of the team in a way, which allowed Pierce to really be like really flourish in his role. Yeah. And I feel like Tatum allows everybody else to do that. It's like he does all the rebounding. He does all the dirty work. He helps initiate so Jalen can attack manipulated defenses. His two-man game behind the back passes with KP and Horford. The two-man game that he developed with Derrick. I think Tatum's closer to Garnett, but I understand the lizard take because, I mean, archetype visually, that's kind of similar. But man, Tatum had already just like gone past Pierce.
Yeah, I think this is a piece of evidence that is, to me, really convincing that Tatum is much closer to Kevin Garnett than he is to Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce never made an All-NBA first team. Tatum has made 4 now. Like, that's a ridiculous number of All-NBA first teams, and that is just a different caliber of player. JB and Pierce are really the comparison. Because I think it's pretty clear Tatum, and like you mentioned all the things he does, that's not even counting the fact that like he can switch on to point guards. He guards centers for like large swaths of games. He's a best defensive rebounder. So I am not worried about this. This is a great lizard brain take because I have had this thought too, where Tatum's like bricking mid-range jumpers in fourth quarters. And it's like, is he maybe just not good enough to be our number one? He is. Like, think Giannis has won 1 championship, like it's just really, really hard to win championships. And there's not a lot of guys in the league at any one time who win multiple of them. So I think Tatum can definitely win another as the best player for sure.
Pierce made 4 All-NBA teams. He
never made first.
All-NBA third team 3 times and All-NBA second team once.
Yeah.
So
he never made a first team.
His highest MVP finish was 7th. Tatum just came out, finished at 4th over on MVP, which very, very impressive here. Like I think that's the comp. But great lizard brain take.
It is.
I do think the collective Kevin Garnett. Yeah, Tatum and being the collective, and it's interesting that piece that Noah did on all the different guys. Like Torrey Craig was in there being like, yeah, we're going to compete for a champion. I'm like, thanks, Torrey. Appreciate your contributions here, brother. Yeah. Pritchard obviously believes it. Drew Holiday obviously believes it and maybe doesn't realize he's going to be traded, which is interesting to me. But I wonder if we're really going to find out, like, yeah, this is what it looks like when we don't have Jayson Tatum. It'd be a good problem to have if, like, I'm wrong and he's not as important and these other guys can fill in more of those gaps because it's like, okay, look, Tatum doesn't have to do all of these things. You guys had to take more rebounding responsibility. You had to take more ball handling responsibility, more guarding responsibility, which allows Tatum to not do as much. But if you look at the playoff on-offs in this playoffs, it was like Tatum was dragging the whole team. Defensively, It was a nightmare when he was off the court, and that's been the reality of the team for a long time now. And obviously, if that's compounded by losing Horford and Drew, then you're gonna be in some trouble.
Yeah, it could be very bad. I think to me the playoff stuff is really why I'm team stealth tank, and I know there's some people who vehemently disagree with that. But like, man, his entire career we've just been bad essentially when he's not playing in the playoffs, which is common for everybody's best player. But yeah, so like for Tatum's entire career, when he's been on the court in the playoffs, we're plus 4.1. When he's been off, we're minus 4.2. So like we suck when he's not on the court in the playoffs, and we are really good when he is for his entire career. So that's why it's like, do we really want to get the 7 seed and get knocked off in the first round? Maybe it's 7-game series, maybe it's 6, whatever. Like, I don't think we're going to be bad next year if we essentially just like hold it together and keep at least Drew and Al. But I think we should kind of try to be a little bad, because like the upside is not a championship. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Yeah. The lean into you're not trying to be bad, but it's like play by Baylor Shireman, play Jordan Walsh, play whoever you drafted 30th overall. Let JD Davison play.
Yeah.
Who?
Play Norris. Miles Norris, baby.
Tough guy. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And it's James in the chat here. Man, the thought of tanking. Can we all watch a year of Wizards basketball? It won't be like that. It's like, can you just get into the 10th, 11th, 9th best odds range? As we talked about those players before. Nesmith was 14th overall. Casey Wallace was 10th overall. Jalen Williams was 12th overall. Trey Murphy was 17th overall. Just like the higher you pick, the easier it is to get someone that's better. That's just how it works. Like, you can find guys in the 30s that turn into good players. Like, obviously it's possible. Like, Jalen Wells was really good this season. Desmond Bain was like the poster boy for this, like, for a little while. Like, you can do it, but it's obviously a lot easier to do it if you pick higher.
Yeah, so I was wrong. Toppin was 8. Listen to this 8 through 15 actually in the 2020 draft. 8, Obi Toppin. 9, Denny Avdia. 11, Devin Vassell. 12, Tyrese Halliburton. 14, Aaron Nesmith. 15, Cole Anthony. 16, Isaiah Stewart. Like, those
are all good players.
6 out of 8. Dude,
yeah.
And like Hallie's a legitimate star. I'm not saying let's go 15 and 67. Yeah. I'm saying like maybe 38 and 44, something like that. Like, make sure Jalen doesn't play a lot and he's like super healthy for when Tatum comes back, and like maybe try to find a sort of younger, worse replacement for Drew that you can get involved in the team. Yeah, and like you're so right. Like, see what you got with Shireman and Walsh, especially Walsh. He needs minutes to figure this out. He really, really does. And like, you just lean into winning like 37, 38 games and get into that range and hope you hit. And like, you can change the outlook of this team pretty significantly. Like all the trades we've tried to get, like Trey Murphy or like guys like at that level or the Nesmith level onto this team, because we've needed sort of an infusion of athleticism. And young legs, like, we could just do it. We could just have that pick. So that's why I'm team stealth tank, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah. Is Jordan Walsh going to be Casey Wallace? Probably not. He's probably not going to be an NBA player, but you have to like try and make him that if you can. And you just got to try. Got to try and figure it out. Last question. All defensive teams came out today.
Oh yeah.
We can't clickbait everybody watching who the thumbnail here is basically like Derrick White didn't get an all defensive spot. Did you think that he should have gotten all defense?
No, I don't.
Me neither. Yeah.
So essentially, like if you look at the on-offs, our defense was actually 0.1 better without Derrick on the court. To me, that's like basically nothing. Like, I'm not using that against him. but I don't think he really had like a dramatic effect, positive effect on the defense this year. I think part of that's because Pritchard like got so good defensively that the guy replacing him was pretty good. But I just felt like everybody on this team had like a B plus defensive season. And when you
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and when you add that all up, that's a really fucking awesome defense, but it doesn't mean any individual guy deserves all defense.
Yeah, I thought everybody took a bit of a step back defensively this season. I didn't think anybody deserved it. I think if anybody deserved it, maybe it's Tatum. But like, it's funny how different the defense for Tatum was in the regular season versus the playoffs. Zubats made it. It's laughable. I thought Zubats was the defensive player of the year. Like I thought he was incredible all season long. Clippers were a top 5 defense, and Kawhi didn't play the whole season, and he was anchoring a defense with James Harden on the court for 40 minutes, 35 minutes a night. Zubats, awesome. You saw how well he defended Jokic in the playoffs as well. He's fantastic. You essentially need 3 defensive teams, I think, to whittle this list down to 10 guys. There's going to be a bunch of guys that get left off, but I thought that the teams were fine, like Mobley and Jaren Jackson and Zubats and OG,
Dyson.
Kamara, Dyson. Like, who is he getting in? Who's getting in over those guys? Like,
yeah, and like now that it's positionless too, it's just going to be really hard for guards to get in. And I do feel like voters kind of overrate defensive playmaking because it's easy, like steals and blocks. Okay, which Derrick rates pretty highly on, but like Dyson Daniels led the steals by like way more than everybody else. So like he was a shoe-in. Plus he's just legitimately awesome. So no, I don't think Derrick got robbed. I think him getting 15 points and he was like the 3rd highest vote getter who didn't make the team. That seems pretty fair. Frankly, that maybe is a little high. Just like teams went at him. Like they really figured out, like if we switch him onto one of our bigger wings that can handle, like he has trouble with that. So I love Derrick. He's still a good defender. He's still a great defender. And he has moments where he is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. I just like game in, game out, don't think he was that this year.
His value is more on the offensive end at this point.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
That says a little bit about both the offense. It says a lot about the defense and the offense. Muzz here. Shout out Muzz, the super chat. In this timeline, does Al take a gap year? Appreciate you, Muzz. Also, it's weird that we aren't playing right now. Also, fuck the Knicks. I can't. Yeah, facts, my dog. Does Al take a gap year? He turns 39, or he turns 39 next month. Mm-hmm. So he would be 40 at the beginning of the following season. I wouldn't rule anything out, but I would anticipate Al leaving this. My prediction is that he leaves the Celtics this season. Maybe he comes back. I've been saying if he plays another year in the NBA, I want him to go to Denver. I think that would be a cool combination. And I was just looking for teams that I don't hate, basically. Maybe the Pacers. That'd be cool. I think he would fit with them really nicely as well, coming off the bench as like a backup to Miles Turner. But yeah, shout out Justin Chapman as well. Man, coming in hot here at the end of the show.
Hell yeah.
Not the best ending to the season, but the journey was highly entertaining, especially with First to the Floor. You guys are Jeff, the most hilarious sports show I've ever heard. Hell yeah, dude. PP jokes. You come to the right place, baby.
They always hit.
Yeah, exactly right. Appreciate everybody, especially the Muzz and Justin sending those super chats in just now. But yeah, this is Al Horford and Miles Turner. Call it in, Isaiah. We love to see it. Appreciate you all being here. Spoonie, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back. We'll be back. If you want to tune in, I'm not doing a playback stream today, but go ahead.
I'm gonna do lunchtime podcast tomorrow on the Patreon. I've got 5 more draft prospects that I'm gonna break down like I did last time with highlights and stats. So yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah. Make sure you sign up to the Patreon for that. We're definitely gonna be doing a lot more draft stuff as we get closer here. But yeah, tune in for the Hate Watch. Game 2, and Sam LaFrance. Gonna be epic. A must win for the New York Knicks. That MSG is going to be tight sphincters across the arena. So come on in for that one. Spoonie's been a pleasure. Till next time. Go Celtics.